My wife accused me of ab.se after I discovered her affair. Then the truth came out, and my lawyer had the perfect response that made her regret everything. And now she's scrambling. I need to get this story off my chest and maybe help others who find themselves in similar situations. What happened to me was beyond devastating. It wasn't just about discovering my wife's infidelity, but about facing false accusations that could have ruined my entire life. It all started 3 months ago when I began noticing subtle but concerning changes in my wife Sarah's behavior. Looking back now, I should have seen the sign sooner. But love has a way of blinding us to the obvious. We've been together since college, 4 years of dating and 6 years of marriage that I thought were filled with mutual trust and respect. Sarah was always the more outgoing one between us, the life of every party, while I was content being the steady, reliable one. Maybe that should have been my first clue that things weren't as perfect as I believed. We'd been married for 6 years, and I thought we had a solid relationship. She started working late more often, being protective of her phone, and growing distant. The classic signs were there, but I didn't want to believe it. One evening, while Sarah was supposedly at a work dinner, I received a call from my friend Mike, who saw her at a restaurant across town with another man. They were clearly more than just colleagues, based on how intimate they appeared. My heart sank, but I needed concrete proof before confronting her. Over the next week, I carefully documented everything while trying to maintain a facade of normalcy at home. Each late night was noted in a digital journal, along with screenshots of mysterious text messages that would pop up on her phone at odd hours. I tracked unexplained expenses, fancy restaurant charges in parts of town where she claimed to never go, hotel bookings disguised as business meetings, and new clothing that I never saw her wear at home. The final straw came when I noticed a significant withdrawal from our joint savings account. Money we'd been setting aside for a down payment on our dream house. That's when I made the difficult decision to hire Mark Stevens, a highly recommended private investigator. The cost wasn't insignificant, but I needed to know the truth. Mark's report came 3 days later, complete with time-stamped photos and video evidence that confirmed my worst fears. Sarah had been having an affair with her coworker David for the past 4 months. The details were gut-wrenching. They'd been meeting 3 times a week at a boutique hotel downtown, using lunch breaks and fabricated client meetings as cover. David, I learned, was married too, with 2 young children at home. When I finally confronted her with the evidence, I expected denial, tears, maybe even remorse. Instead, what happened next changed my life forever. Sarah's face transformed from shock to something calculated and cold. She told me that if I tried to divorce her or tell anyone about the affair, she would accuse me of something horrible. I didn't take her threat seriously at first. That was my mistake. The very next day, I was contacted by the police. Sarah had filed a report claiming I had assaulted her multiple times during our marriage. I was absolutely stunned. Not only were these accusations completely false, but they also could destroy everything I'd worked for. My career as a teacher, my reputation, everything. My hands were shaking as I called the best lawyer I could find, James Anderson. Thank goodness I did, because what he told me probably saved my life. Document everything. Don't delete any messages. Don't contact her. And most importantly, don't leave your house. She's trying to get you to run. The next few weeks were an absolute nightmare that tested every ounce of my strength and sanity. Sarah's accusations spread through our social circle like wildfire, carefully crafted to make her appear as the long-suffering victim who had finally found the courage to speak out. She had apparently been preparing for this, laying groundwork with subtle hints to friends over the past months about being afraid and walking on eggshells at home. Our tight-knit neighborhood community, where we'd hosted countless barbecues and holiday parties, suddenly became hostile territory. People who had been at our dinner table just weeks ago now crossed the street to avoid me. Anonymous notes appeared in our mailbox, some expressing support for Sarah, others containing threats and warnings. One morning, I woke up to find someone had spray-painted a horrible word on my car. Some friends immediately took her side without even hearing my version. The police dropped their investigation, and my school reinstated me with a formal apology. Within 2 months of Lisa coming forward, the divorce proceedings were concluded. James had prepared meticulously, presenting not just evidence of her false allegations, but also detailed financial records showing how she had misused our joint accounts to fund her affair. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, listened to everything with an increasingly troubled expression. When she delivered her ruling, her words were sharp and clear. The court has rarely seen such a calculated attempt to destroy someone's life. My principal called me in for a meeting. Someone had forwarded Sarah's social media post to the school board. Following protocol, I was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. But James proved to be more than just a lawyer. He became my strategist and voice of reason when I felt like I was losing my mind. His methodical approach to building our defense was brilliant. First, he had me gather months of security footage from our apartment building, which clearly showed Sarah coming and going freely during the time she claimed she was trapped at home. The timestamps were crucial, showing her cheerfully walking out in workout gear or evening attire at the exact time she later claimed she was being held against her will. James also hired a digital forensics expert who recovered deleted messages and location data from our shared cloud account, something Sarah had forgotten existed. The data painted a clear picture of her movements, completely contradicting her official statement to the police. Most damning were her location pins at the hotel during times she claimed to be hiding from my rage at her sister's house. He subpoenaed her phone records and text messages, including deleted ones, which showed her coordinating with David to fabricate stories. Most importantly, he found her online search history with queries like, how to fake ab.se evidence, and false allegations in divorce. The turning point in this nightmare came when Sarah's best friend Lisa came forward, though her decision to help wasn't immediate. Lisa later told me she had spent weeks wrestling with her conscience. She had discovered Sarah's detailed journal outlining the entire revenge plan after Sarah had carelessly left it at Lisa's house during one of their regular coffee meetings. Lisa had been holding on to screenshots of conversations where Sarah had bragged about manipulating mutual friends and planning her false allegations. The messages were chilling in their calculation. Sarah had researched similar cases online, studying what evidence had worked best and what mistakes to avoid. She had even started taking acting classes 3 months before, supposedly for self-improvement, but actually to practice appearing traumatized and fearful in public. Apparently, Sarah had confided in her about the affair months ago and recently asked for help constructing the ab.se allegations. Lisa had refused and kept messages where Sarah admitted it was all a lie to make him pay for discovering her affair. When presented with a mountain of evidence, Sarah's carefully constructed facade finally crumbled. It happened during a meeting with both our lawyers present, a meeting I'll never forget. She walked in wearing her practiced victim expression, but as James methodically presented piece after piece of evidence, I watched her composure like thin ice. Her hands started shaking when he showed the hotel receipts. She burst into tears at the recovered text messages. But it was Lisa's evidence that finally broke her completely. The confession that followed was both vindicating and heartbreaking. Sarah admitted not just to the affair and false allegations but to orchestrating a month-long campaign to isolate me from our friends and family. She had systematically planted seeds of doubt about my character, using her natural charm and social connections to turn people against me before I even knew what was happening. When asked why, her answer was simple but chilling. I couldn't let him tell everyone about my affair. I had to discredit him first. Sarah not only lost any claim to alimony but was also ordered to repay the money she had spent on hotels and gifts for David. The judge also mandated that she undergo psychological evaluation and counseling. David's wife Susan, a pediatric nurse who had initially believed Sarah's accusations against me, filed for divorce. Within weeks, their company's HR department launched an investigation that revealed they had misused company resources and lied about business trips. Both were terminated, their professional reputations in tatters. My lawyer's final move showcased why his reputation for strategic thinking was well-deserved. He had documented every social media post, every rumor, and every accusation Sarah had spread. Rather than pursue lengthy defamation lawsuits, he presented her with a choice. Either face multiple civil suits that would drag on for years and cost her everything, or post comprehensive public apologies on every platform where she had maligned me. The apologies had to follow a specific format, acknowledging not just the affair but detailing how she had deliberately fabricated accusations and manipulated friends and family. She had to admit to her search history showing premeditation, her collaboration with David to create false alibis, and her attempts to corrupt the legal system with false police reports. Most importantly, she had to absolve me completely of any wrongdoing and acknowledge the harm she had caused to real victims of ab.se by making false allegations. It's been 6 months since everything happened. The divorce is finalized, and I'm slowly rebuilding my life. Some friends who initially doubted me have apologized, though those relationships will never be the same. My students' parents organized a support rally when I returned to teaching, which meant more to me than they'll ever know. Sarah occasionally tries to contact me through mutual friends, claiming she's changed and realizes what she lost. But as my lawyer, James, says, the best revenge is living well. I'm focusing on healing and moving forward. I've started therapy to deal with the trauma of facing false accusations, and I'm even thinking about writing a book to help other innocent people who find themselves in similar situations. This harrowing experience taught me several valuable lessons about human nature and resilience. I learned that sometimes the person you trust most in the world can become a stranger overnight, but also that unexpected allies can emerge from the darkness. I discovered that my own strength went far deeper than I ever imagined. Even on days when getting out of bed felt impossible, something inside pushed me to keep fighting. The experience also taught me about the complexity of truth and lies in our modern world. Social media can amplify false narratives at lightning speed, but it can also preserve the digital breadcrumbs that lead to the truth. I learned the importance of having not just good character witnesses but also hard evidence, dates, times, locations, and documentation that can stand up to scrutiny. First, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Second, document everything. You never know when you'll need proof. Third, get the best legal representation you can afford immediately. And finally, don't let someone else's betrayal destroy your faith in humanity. There are still good people out there who will stand by the truth. Update: 1 year later. The transformation in my life has been remarkable. The book project started as a form of therapy, Just me typing away late at night, trying to make sense of everything that had happened. But when I shared some chapters with my support group, they encouraged me to expand it into a full resource for others facing false allegations. Working with a publisher who specializes in legal memoirs, we've created not just my story but a comprehensive guide, including legal strategies, documentation techniques, and mental health resources. The process of writing forced me to confront every painful detail, but it also helped me recognize the strength I never knew I had. Each chapter was like lancing a wound, letting the out so real healing could begin. My editor, a survivor of similar false allegations, helped me strike the right balance between raw honesty and practical advice. Sarah's charges for filing false reports resulted in community service and mandatory counseling. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, Lisa and I began meeting for coffee to process everything that had happened. Our friendship developed slowly and naturally, built on a foundation of shared experiences and mutual respect. We would sit for hours in a quiet corner of a local cafe, talking about everything and nothing. She understood my triggers and anxieties because she had witnessed their creation. I appreciated her honesty and courage because I had seen both tested under extreme pressure. When our friendship began shifting toward something more, we both approached it with caution and transparency. Lisa suggested we meet with my therapist together to ensure we were building something healthy, not just trauma bonding. Her thoughtfulness in this and so many other ways showed me what real love and respect look like. We're taking things very slowly, but it's nice to be with someone who values honesty and stood up for the truth even when it was difficult. My school district now uses my case as part of their training on how to handle allegations properly, investigating thoroughly while protecting both the accused and the accuser's rights. I've started speaking at legal seminars about the importance of due process and the devastating impact of false allegations. David and Sarah apparently tried to continue their relationship after everything fell apart, but it didn't last 2 months once they had to face reality instead of sneaking around. Last I heard, she's moved to another state to start fresh. Her family, who initially believed her accusations, has since apologized to me and contact with her until she gets professional help. The support group I joined for survivors of false allegations has become like a second family. We're working on creating a non-profit organization to provide legal resources and emotional support to others in similar situations. James, my lawyer, has agreed to be on the advisory board. Looking back, I realized that while this experience was traumatic, it showed me who my true friends are and gave me a new purpose in life. To anyone facing false allegations, document everything, get good legal help, and don't lose hope. The truth has a way of coming out, even if it takes time. Final update, 3 years later. 3 years have passed since the original incident, and I'm happy to report that life has completely turned around. Lisa and I got married last spring in a small ceremony surrounded by true friends and family. My book became a bestseller and has helped countless others navigate similar situations. Starting with monthly support group meetings in a borrowed church basement, Truth Prevails grew steadily over 2 years to become a nationally recognized advocacy organization. In our first year, we helped 20 people fight false allegations. By year 2, we had established a network of pro bono lawyers across 3 states and helped over 50 people clear their names. Our mission is threefold: providing legal assistance to those facing false allegations, offering emotional support through certified counselors, and working with lawmakers to create better protections for both the falsely accused and genuine victims. James not only joined our advisory board but has assembled a network of lawyers across the country willing to take on cases pro bono. We've established a scholarship fund to help people who can't afford private investigators or digital forensics experts, tools that proved crucial in my case. Every month, we host workshops where survivors share their stories and strategies, creating a community of support and resilience. The most rewarding part has been seeing people rebuild their lives after facing similar situations. Last month, we helped a kindergarten teacher clear his name after a bitter ex-partner made false allegations. Watching him return to his classroom, welcomed back by supportive parents and administrators, reminded me why this work matters so much. We've also worked with lawmakers to strengthen penalties for knowingly filing false reports while ensuring protections remain in place for genuine victims. 2 years after everything happened, Sarah's attempt to reach out through her therapist came as a surprise, though perhaps it shouldn't have. 2 years after helping me clear my name, James announced his plan to retire from private practice to work full-time with Truth Prevails. Starting next year, he's developing a comprehensive training program for lawyers handling false allegation cases, incorporating everything he learned from my case and dozens of others he's taken on since then. His dedication to this cause continues to amaze me. He often says that helping clear my name gave him a new purpose in his legal career. What's been particularly meaningful is seeing how our work has influenced policy changes. 3 states have already passed what they're calling truth and allegations laws, which increase penalties for provably false accusations while maintaining protections for genuine victims. We've been invited to testify before state legislatures, sharing our story and the stories of others we've helped. The goal isn't to discourage real victims from coming forward but to create a system that better serves justice for everyone. At our 3-year anniversary dinner last week, we received news that took us completely by surprise. Lisa's pregnancy checkup had revealed we're actually expecting triplets, not twins as initially thought. The third baby had been hiding behind their siblings in previous scans. It feels like a metaphor for life itself. Sometimes the biggest blessings come as complete surprises. We're alternating between excitement and panic, but mostly just feeling incredibly grateful. Our families have rallied around us in ways that heal old wounds. My parents, who still carry guilt about initially doubting me, have purchased the house next door to help with the babies. Lisa's parents are moving closer too. The support network we're building isn't just about practical help. It's about creating the kind of loving, truthful environment we want our children to grow up in. The support group has evolved into something beautiful too. What started as a handful of people sharing their pain has become a powerful community of survivors helping each other rebuild. We meet monthly, and the transformations I witness never cease to inspire me. People who first came to us broken and doubting themselves leave standing tall, ready to reclaim their lives and help others do the same. In the third year after everything happened, David reached out through his lawyer. After losing his job and marriage, he had completed rehabilitation programs for anger management and relationship addiction. While I appreciated his desire to make amends, I maintained the boundary of no direct contact. However, I did agree to let him make a substantial donation to Truth Prevail's legal defense fund, money that will help others fight false allegations. Sometimes the best way to make amends is to help prevent others from suffering similar pain. As I write this final update, sitting in what will soon be our nursery, I'm struck by how life's greatest trials often lead to its greatest gifts. Lisa is napping in the next room, our triplets growing stronger every day. The wall beside me is covered with letters from people we've helped. Each one is a reminder that speaking truth, even when it's hard, creates ripples of hope that touch countless lives. To anyone reading this who's facing their own battle against false allegations, hold on to hope. The road ahead might seem impossible, but there are people ready to help you walk it. Document everything. Trust in the truth. And remember that your darkest chapter might just be the beginning of your most powerful story. The journey from victim to survivor to advocate is rarely easy, but it's always worth it. And to those who might be tempted to make false allegations, know that the truth has a way of surfacing. And the damage you cause reaches far beyond your intended target. It hurts not just the falsely accused but their families, their communities, and, most tragically, real victims whose voices are doubted because of false accusations. Life has taught me that while we can't always choose what happens to us, we can choose how we let it shape us. I chose to turn my pain into purpose, my struggle into strength, and my story into a beacon of hope for others. That choice has made all the difference. Let me know if you'd like further refinements. The therapist, Dr. Martinez, contacted me professionally, explaining that Sarah had been diagnosed with several underlying mental health conditions and was doing intensive work on herself. She genuinely believed Sarah had made progress and that a supervised reconciliation conversation might be healing for both of us. After careful consideration and lengthy discussions with both my own therapist and Lisa, I crafted a response, declining the meeting. While I acknowledged Sarah's efforts to improve herself, I explained that maintaining our distance was crucial for my own mental health and continued healing. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ash. Not out of bitterness or revenge, but for the healthy boundaries they represent. Dr. Martinez respected my decision but shared that my response actually helped Sarah understand the true consequences of her actions. Apparently, she had been holding on to a fantasy that enough therapy and genuine remorse could somehow undo the past. My firm but non-antagonistic boundary helped her accept the permanence of certain choices. After my name was cleared, I returned to teaching with full support from the school administration. Within a year, I was nominated for Teacher of the Year, an honor that felt particularly meaningful because it represented complete professional rehabilitation. The same school community that had once whispered and doubted now celebrated not just my teaching abilities but my character. The selection committee specifically cited my grace under pressure and how I had turned a personal tragedy into a platform for helping others. The promotion to department head came with its own poetic justice. Part of my new role involves training other teachers on handling sensitive situations and false allegations. I've implemented protocols that protect both teachers and students, ensuring that accusations are taken seriously while also preserving due process and the presumption of innocence. It's a delicate balance, but one that my unique experience has prepared me to maintain. Lisa's pregnancy has brought an unexpected level of healing to both our families. Her parents, who initially struggled with the idea of her dating Sarah's ex-husband, have become our biggest supporters after seeing how we've helped each other heal and grow. My own parents, who felt guilty for initially believing some of Sarah's accusations, have thrown themselves into grandparent preparations with enthusiasm. Life has a funny way of bringing good things out of bad situations. To anyone reading this who's facing false allegations, stay strong, trust in the truth, and remember that your current situation is not your final destination. Looking back over these past 3 years, I'm struck by how life's darkest moments often lead to unexpected light. The same events that could have destroyed me instead gave me a stronger sense of purpose, a more genuine relationship, and the opportunity to help others navigate similar storms. I've learned that real strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you choose to get back up. My work with Truth Prevails has shown me that false allegations are tragically common, but so is the human capacity for resilience and growth. Every person we help reinforces my belief that standing for truth, while often difficult, is always worth it. The ripple effects of both lies and truth can last generations. I choose to create ripples of truth, hope, and healing. Lisa and I are expecting twins now, a boy and a girl. We've already decided to raise them with strong values about honesty and integrity, teaching them that character revealed under pressure is character that truly matters. While I would never choose to go through what I did, I'm grateful that my children will have parents who understand the true value of truth, loyalty, and genuine love. The impact of our story has reached beyond what I ever imagined possible. Publishers from several countries have contacted us about translating the book into different languages, recognizing that false allegations and their devastating consequences know no borders. We're working with translators to ensure the legal resources section is adapted for each country's specific laws and systems. The documentary project that's in development feels like another surreal chapter in this journey. When the production company first approached us, I was hesitant. The idea of reliving everything on camera seemed daunting. But Lisa helped me see it as another way to reach people who might need our help. The producers have been incredibly sensitive, focusing not just on the false allegations but on the broader themes of resilience, redemption, and the importance of supporting real victims by standing against false accusations.